Good morning. If you're new here, my name's Sophie and I run the stationery shop Sophie in Somerset, and we're just getting ready to do our last craft fair of the year. It is -4 outside, so luckily we're indoors, but it is in a church building, so I'm expecting it to be a little bit chilly. So for the plan for the day is I'm going to film as much as the setup and the craft fair as possible. And then later on when we come back, we're going to go through my setup for craft fairs and the top tips that I've learned through doing my first couple of craft fairs and what I've learned from other stall holders. So I hope you join me today. I hope you enjoy it. And it's going to be a special one because not only is it the last craft fair of the year, it's actually being held in the church where me and my family worship. So it's going to be a special one today. So hopefully I'll get some good footage for you. So come along and join me for the day. So we're back from the craft market. I'm now sat in my little boy's bedroom because it's just the biggest space. So we've got all of the stock there in the boxes. We've literally just got home, and I thought, what a better time to kind of do a debrief with you about how it went, things I've learnt, and I've got 10 top tips that I've learnt through this market and the market that I'd done previously, and also speaking to other stall holders and small businesses. So I thought I'd share that with you to kind of round off this video. So first of all, it was really amazing. If you watched my last studio vlog after I did the other craft fair, you'll know that that wasn't a great success. I think we only made 4 sales, and I think I made about £13, I think it was. Whereas in this sale, I've got my little clipboard here, I made 16 sales and made a total of £83, which was so incredible. And the best thing was, the previous craft market, the table cost was, I think it was about £40. It was quite expensive, whereas this time the table cost was only £15. So I made £83, so minus 15, what's that? £68 profit, which is amazing. So I'm really pleased with that. Super happy. And I met such lovely people. Before I go any further, before I forget, I met 2 other small little local art businesses. Please excuse me, I'm just still getting over a cold, so I run out of breath sometimes partway through a sentence. I've got a bit of a cough, but I met 2 other small businesses. So this was a craft market, in our church. So a lot of people were so we had like the WI there. We had people just raising money for charities, like bric-a-brac stalls, those kind of things. So it wasn't just small businesses. So there was some like general stuff, but then there had another couple of small businesses, like I said. The first one was Lock and Charm. So this is her card and her details there. I think you can see it. I'll pop it down in the description. And there's also a QR code for her shops there, so hopefully you can scan that one. And she did beautiful earrings. I think they're made from polymer clay. First of all, how amazing is that colour scheme? It's totally my colour scheme. And she was really lovely, and she took one of my business cards, and she actually liked my Harvest Mouse design, and so I had it on a vinyl sticker and a double-sided A6 print, but she wanted it in an A4 print, because I did have some other A4 prints, but I didn't have that in A4, and she was really gutted because she really loved the design. But she took away my card and said she was going to go on my Etsy and have a look. So I'm going to do the same and go on hers. She's got Facebook, Instagram, and she's got a Shopify website, which is what the QR code is for. So she was amazing. And then another fellow mum, Eloise, this is her details here. Look at this lovely illustration. She's like beautiful. And here's her Instagram details. I don't know if that's gonna, if it doesn't focus, that's fine. Again, I'll put it down in the description. Her stuff was beautiful, and her little boy goes to the same, a couple of same toddler groups as my little boy. So yeah, so I want to give them a shout out. And then I also, this wasn't a small business, it was just a kind of, I think it was like the Inner Wheel, and they were raising money for charity. And I bought this beautiful, it says for £1.50, tree decoration, and it's made out of buttons, which I thought was really cool. So just goes to show what amazing stuff are at these markets, and I think it's really important to speak to the other stall holders and kind of support each other. So I try and do that where possible. So yeah, it was an amazing event. I'm really happy, and actually people were saying that the footfall was a lot lower than last year. I have previously had stalls quite a few years ago at this event, where I used to like make handmade jewelry and just kind of knickknacks. I used to take my mum's handmade cards and stuff, but this is my first time doing that as a business, and last year we just went just as like kind of buyers really. So yeah, really pleased. So I said I was going to tell you a bit more about kind of what I do on my store and where I get my things from. So we'll do that, and then we'll go into my top tips, because I've got 10 top tips. So first off, I had my card reader. So I had my cash, and in my little cash tin. Yeah, little cash tin. I think I just got this off Amazon, it's so old. And then I had my card reader. That was £46.80 for that Sumup card reader. It worked really well, and it worked off Bluetooth, so I didn't have to worry about Wi-Fi or anything. And I think I kept track. So I think most people did pay by cash. I guess they just came, and a lot of stores didn't accept cash. But I know when I did my other art market, basically everyone had card machines. So I think the more professional ones have card machines. Sorry, excuse me. So card machine, I went 1, 2, 3. I think there's only 3 card payments. So only 3 people paid by card, but it was still worth having the card machine there. And like I said, in my other art market, I think all bar one sale was on card. So really important to invest in that if you're going to do a lot of markets, which we're hopefully going to do next year. I had my business cards. So I got these from Vistaprint. And for 250 business cards, it was $14.99, which was incredible price. And so on one side, I have a QR code going to my Etsy store, and I have my like social media handles. On the other side, I just have my logo. My table runner was also from Vistaprint. Now that is quite pricey. It's £38.43, but I just think it makes this whole store look so much more professional. Again, not so much for this one, because this was more of like a casual event. But the previous market I did, you could tell the people who'd done markets a lot, because they had their branding everywhere. It's just so important. The wooden shelves that I had my snow globes on, I actually sold out of all of my snow globes, by the way. I think you see in the footage, you start off seeing the snow globes on the wooden shelves, and another clip, in the end I put a print up there with some of the sticker packs and a couple of wooden sleighs, because I sold out of all of my snow globes, which I'm so happy about, because seasonal items like that you don't want to be hanging on to. And then they weren't on my Etsy store, they were just purely for the art markets, so I sold out completely of those. But the wooden shelves that they were on, they're from Temu, and they were £6.79. So again, Temu is a controversial choice sometimes, but I think for display stands, you're best off getting them from there, because they were still good quality, and you know, well, almost £7. I mean, what's that? It's not much at all. The 2 wooden crates that I used were from Hobbycraft, and they were £10 each. I actually bought those quite a while ago, along with the white tree. The white tree was also £10, I believe. But I bought that so long ago. We actually used it at our wedding. The crates and the white tree were featured as part of our wedding decor. So it was quite cute to reuse those as part of my display setup. So they're all £10 from Hobbycraft. The clear shells, I think they're here. These ones. Now, I got these ages ago. I've had them quite a few years, because we used to do kind of like upcycling stuff, and we used to sell it in a shop. So this is where this is from. But I've looked on, so I did get this from Amazon. I can't find the exact ones, but I've looked on Amazon for similar, and they're between £10 and £15. So this is plastic. But again, it's good to display stuff. I did have my stickers on it this time, but I'm not 100% happy with how the stickers were displayed. So I'm going to maybe go back to the drawing board, and I'm planning a trip to Hobbycraft in kind of January time. And I want to try and get, you know, like a box with lots of individual sections. I think I'm going to go down that route for stickers, because I've seen other people do that, and I think that's a good plan. So, but for today, that worked pretty well. And then last of all, I had brown bags to give away the products in when I sell them. And I got a pack of 50 for $8.99 from Amazon. So that's a little bit of an overview of most of the stuff on my stall and how much the displays were. If you saw anything you weren't sure where I got it from or how much it was, please just leave a comment and I'll try and find out for you. But off the top of my head, I just wanted to give you a rough idea. Right, let's jump in to the top tips, because I really want to share with you what I've learned, and hopefully it can help you. Because I'm not gonna lie, last time I was a little bit disheartened. I tried to make the best of it at my last market when I only made 4 sales, and didn't make the table money back. And I did learn a lot from other people, but you can't help but be a bit disheartened. So I'm so happy today went well, because it's boosted my confidence again, because I really want to do more art markets next year. But it's given me lots of food for thought, and I just thought I'd share it with you, because then maybe you can learn from what I've learned from. Does that make sense? I'm going to give you top 10 tips anyway, so hopefully you'll like it. So my number 1 tip, I've got them wrote down here, so that's why I'm looking down. Number 1 tip, let's get my words out. It's been a long day. It is now 4 o'clock, 10 past 4. We started early. It was, the craft market was 10 till 2:30. And then we had to go and pick up my little boy, who's now downstairs with my husband. So yeah, 10 past 4 now, so it's not too bad. So number 1 is branding. So like I said, not so much critical for today's market, because this was more of a low-key event. But when you're doing other markets, and like I said, I noticed it from the one last time, branding is so important, so that people know who you are, what you sell, and also so you just stand out. So you'll notice from my stall, you can straight off the bat tell that I love pink, by the way. You can notice that, and you know that that's what I'm about. That's my branding. That's the kind of vibe we're going through the products. So if that's not for you, that's great. That's fine. You can just move along. But if that is you, people are going to see you. So if you're someone, so somebody who buys from me is probably going to like pink. It's going to like stationery. It's probably most likely going to be female. And they're going to spot that and be like, okay, I'm going to make a beeline for that still, because that's calling to me. Do you see what I mean? So, and also they know where to find you again. So that's why business cards are really important. So I had my business cards on the table, and I also, with my brown bags, I stapled business cards to the brown bags. Now eventually I want to get a stamp to put on the brown bags. But even then, I think if you're not putting them, not attach them to the bags, I think you should put them in them for each cell. And what I want to try and do next time is kind of like put additional little bits in the bag, just so they know where to find you again. So if once they get home, they've got your product that they've bought from you, and they're like, oh, they also have an Etsy store. I didn't realise. I'll go on there and see what else is available. Or I like the design. I wonder if it's on other products. Things like that. And obviously, I've got my table runner as well. Straight off the bat, tells you who I am. They can go and find me on Etsy. They can go and find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of those sites. So I just think it creates a personal relationship as well, because when it's art, they're not just buying from you. They're not buying from a business, they're buying from you, if that makes sense. And that's why, you know, on social media, it's proven that you get more sales and kind of more engagement when you actually, as hard as it is to show your face, people want to see the person behind the business. And with small businesses, they're buying from a person, not from this massive company. So let people know who you are by your branding. Invest in business cards, definitely. That's my biggest thing. Like I said, it wasn't very much. It was $14.99 for 250 business cards from Vistaprint, which is an amazing price. So invest in those. Let people know where to find you, because I made 16 sales today, but you know, a good handful of people at least took my business cards away saying, oh, you know, I'll have a look on your website. I spent all my money today. I'll go and check out your Etsy store, things like that. So I may make more sales from today on Etsy. So it's worth having that. So number 2, have prices visible. So many people are nervous about asking how much things are. And I think there's a tendency, and now I'm guilty of this as well, if you can't see a price, you might think, actually, do you know what, I can't afford it, or I'm too shy, I don't want to ask. I'm a massive introvert, I hate asking questions and stuff, and it can be quite intimidating. So have prices visible. So I had this sign on my stall which gave a good list of all the products that I was selling, and in addition, you would have seen from the footage, I had little price signs by the individual products as well. So I had a big list, and I also had individual prices as near as possible to the items. And then you can go a step further and put the price actually on the items. I think if you have a lot of individual prices, so say you're somebody who does any type of fibre art, so knitting, crochet, felting, and all of your products are slightly individually priced because of how long they take, I would actually, although it's going to take a long time, I would take the time to put individual prices on them, or at least group them, because people are really shy about asking, and they won't ask, and then they'll just assume they can't afford it, and they'll just go away. So have the prices like visible. An additional thing that I'm going to do next year is I'm going to do offers. So at the moment, I had just prices for large stickers and small stickers, say, and sticker packs. But what I might do next year is, okay, it's this price for one sticker, but then, you know, you can get, I don't know, 3 for another price. It's slightly cheaper. Do you see what I mean? So you can encourage people to buy more than one of those items. Kind of like a bundle deal. So that's something I'm going to introduce next year. But yeah, just have those prices available and visible, because you don't want to put somebody off buying your stuff simply because your prices aren't visible. So I was just about to say something else, but I think that comes out in one of my other tips. Tip number 3, don't underprice. Now this sounds really counterintuitive, but previously, and again, speaking to other stallholders, some of this advice have come from speaking to other stallholders. So that's why I really encourage you to talk to other people. If you price things too cheaply, it actually puts people off, because there's no value then to that product. You are an artist. You've taken the time to design that product. You have created that product, whether it's you've drawn the design, you've painted it, or you've made it, if you're, again, felting or knitting or crochet, or whatever your art is, you have taken the time to create that product. You have put love, you have put time, you've put resources into it, and you deserve to be paid a fair price for it. Now, I'm not saying, you know, price it astronomically, but equally, people aren't going to value your product unless you value it, unless you have value in yourself, and yes, you have confidence. And actually, do you know what? I'm worth that amount. So actually, again, like I said, it sounds counterintuitive, but people are actually put off by too low a price. So I would recommend, if you're selling on Etsy, you can do your research looking at other people on Etsy. If you're going to art markets, try and go to a few art markets yourself as a customer. See how much other people are selling it for. Or if you go to an art market as a seller, again, look around, see what other people are charging. And, you know, you can judge yourself, okay, is that a bit too high? Is it a bit too low? Where does my art sit compared to that art? So, for example, my A4 prints I was selling for £10 because I was selling it because I had printed them myself. Now, if I had outsourced that printing, I would have to take into account how much it costs me to order in those prints. So again, you need to take into account how much it's cost you to produce those works. How long does it take you to make? Now, you're not always going to get your time back. You're just not. But you should be paid for at least some of your time. But you should definitely make sure that you're making your money back on the resources of the materials it took to make those products. And if you had to send out
for any manufacturer work, to make sure that's being covered as well, and postage and things like that. A lot of times at markets we can sometimes get away with charging a little bit less than what we may charge on Etsy, because we haven't got to include postage. But equally, I think sometimes you could actually switch it the other way. You could actually charge a little bit more in person, because people are actually able to handle your products. They're able to see the quality, which you can't always get across on Etsy in pictures and videos. And also obviously on Etsy, it's such more flooded market. They're not just looking at your product, they're looking at a range of products. Whereas when they're in front of you, you might be the only stall that day selling stickers or bookmarks, things like that. So just take the time to do your research, but don't undercharge your art, because actually, like I said again, people aren't then going to appreciate how much effort's gone into it. They're not going to then want that product. When you price it at a point that is right, that is putting value on your art, people appreciate the time and effort that's gone into it, and the fact that it is a work of art. This isn't just a mass-produced sticker or print. This was hand-drawn by you, so have faith in your art. Number 4 is offer cash and card. I've kind of just briefly went on to that when I was saying about how Sumup and stuff, the card machine. But offer cash and card payments, because I did note that at the previous, again, it didn't matter so much today because people were prepared for the fact that most people don't only accept cash. They came ready with cash. But at the other market, there was a store that only accepted cash, and they did lose out on some sales because, you know, those buyers didn't have any cash. And I'm one of those people, I don't carry cash anymore. I only have card. So if somebody says, oh, it's cash only, I wouldn't be able to purchase certain things. So give people the option. Don't give people a reason not to buy your products. If possible, try and think of every possible reason that could be a barrier to somebody purchasing, and try and do something about it. So yeah, I would, you know, like I said, it was £46.80, which is an investment for the card reader. But once you've got it, you've got it. Like I said, I use it on my phone. I link it with my phone via Bluetooth. It's dead easy to use. You just have it sat on your table. I had a little stand that I purchased from Etsy, just so it was stood up, so it looked quite nice. But yeah, please think about doing it. If you're going to do a lot of craft markets, I think it's worth investing in the card machine, which is why I've done that, because again, next year I want to do quite a few markets. That's the plan. So number 5, have products for all budgets. Now this was the point I was going to make previously. So again, we want to be thinking about what could be the barrier. Somebody really loves your art, but there's this barrier that's stopping them from buying. And it might be budget. Let's face it, we're all in the cost of living crisis at the moment. Money is tight. And this is such an expensive time of year, especially. Have products for all budgets. So let's use this as an example. So my most expensive products was my art prints at £10. My cheapest were my snow globes at £2. I completely sold out of my snow globes. And I had prices in between. So I had memo pads at £8. I had double-sided prints at £5. I had postcard prints and bookmarks at £3. And then I had stickers from kind of £1 to £2, so depending on size. So I had a range of prices, which meant that no matter what your budget, you could find something on my stall that you could purchase if you loved my art. And again, also, especially when you're offering stuff like stickers, kids love stickers. And if they're coming along with their pocket money, it's the perfect pocket money price. So I think have a range on your stall, and then you're not excluding anyone. Again, you could have some original art as well. And, you know, you can price that, well, I mean, if it's original art, you could be looking at 3 figures. But then have some prints as well. and maybe have some postcards and have your art on bookmarks and have something, even if, say, original art is what your goal is, you want to sell your original pieces, these high-end pieces, have some budget items as well, because not everyone, as much as they love your art and much as they would want to own it, they just might not physically be able to afford it. So it's better to be able to sell something of theirs, and actually then they'll get the bug. Maybe they'll get your art and be like, I love this item so much, I'm then going to save up for the big ticket item. Because once you know you as an artist, they get your business card, they start to follow you on social media, they start to follow you on YouTube, they get to know you as a person, they invest in your journey, and now they're going to save up, or maybe for their birthday or Christmas they'll ask for the big ticket item. So don't poo-poo like little sales like that. I think every sale counts, and once you've got one of your products in the hands of a customer, they are more likely then to come back to you. So yeah, have products of all prices. Number 6, create height and interest to your stall. Now, every single video that I've watched on YouTube of other people doing art markets have always said the same thing, and it's something I've observed on, I think at the last market I did where there was more professional people who like literally do this for a living. Every single one of them had various heights to their stall. Don't just have it on one level. So on my stall, which is why I bought the crates and why I had the stepped storage as well. Just create different heights. So also, if there's a crowd of people, if you're lucky enough to have a crowd of people looking at your stall, it means the people further back can still see bits if they're higher up. Kids can come into the stall, can see things lower down. It creates interest, the eyes darting all over the place. Just as much as you can, create height and interest to your stall. You might have props on your stall that is in keeping with your brand. Make sure it's always in keeping with your brand, whether that's in colour or to do with your niche. Don't have stuff cluttering up your stall that isn't anything to do with it. But anything you can do to make your stall stand out and create interest and make people want to go and have a look at your stall. Again, if you've got height, somebody over the other side of the room might be just scanning the room. They're like, oh, what's that? And again, make a beeline for your stall. When you are somewhere where there's so many other stalls, you need something to make you stand out. And maybe they might see something on your stall, be like, oh, I'm going to have a wander around. You want to be the stall that they keep thinking about. I'm like, no, I need to go back and buy that item because I can't stop thinking about it. Number 7 is network. I've spoken about this in my last studio vlog after my last market and at the start of this video. Speak to other stall holders and small businesses. The people at the last market that I did, a lot of them did this as their bread and butter. This is what they did day in, day out. And they have just so much wisdom to offer you. And also, it's just great to make other small business friends, and you can help each other out and learn from each other. And also, just little things like if you need to go to the loo, if you need to go and get a drink, you can watch each other's stalls if you want to have a wander around. Ask your neighbour to watch your stall for you. And you know, just help each other out. I just think it creates actually a really nice community. And a lot of the people from the previous market that I did, this company, which is West Country Crafters, they have venues in Wells, Glastonbury, Sherborne and Bradford-on-Avon. And I'm looking at doing maybe some of the other venues next year. And they were saying they go around all the venues. So actually, it creates almost like another little community, which I think is great. And also, networking doesn't just come to the other stall holders. It comes to your customers. Don't just sit behind the stall and just put your head in a book. Or a lot of people brought their craft. So if they were say needle felting, they'd be sat behind a stall doing needle felting, which is fine. And sometimes it's actually a good thing because then the customers can see how you make the product. But make sure you're engaging with those customers. I always made sure that I was, when it was busy, I was stood up the whole time. I did sit down when it's quiet parts because, you know, it's a long time standing there. But I made sure I stood up. I said hello to everyone who came to the stall. I talked through my art. And people want to know the story behind your art. Again, they're investing in you, the small business owner, the artist. And they're much more likely to buy from you. I know today, especially, people came up to the art and I'd be like, oh, you know, I drew all these designs. I'm the artist behind them. They're like, really? And it created a conversation. And a lot of the times it did then convert into a sale. Like, oh, wow, this is amazing work. You've got amazing art. I really love that. And then you can start directing it to some people. Like, so somebody said, oh, you know, oh, I really love your art. You know, my daughter loves cats. Oh, great. We've got some tree decoration for cats. I've got some stickers. I've got a bookmark. Oh, this is a really nice design. Oh, I've actually got that the same design on a print as well as a bookmark. Oh, that's a really good idea. So talk to people and just be friendly. People are more likely to buy from you, or at least ask a question about it if they like you. So just engage with people. It can be quite draining. Again, I'm an introvert, so I am so tired today after doing a market from 10 till 2:30. Like, speaking to that many people for that length of time, I am socially drained. But equally, I showed that it worked because I got the sales, because I was speaking to people and I was engaging people. And every single person that bought from me is somebody I engaged with. And they want to know the story behind your art as well. So yeah, even if you find it hard, even if you're an introvert like me, push yourself out of your comfort zone, because I promise you, you won't regret it. So number 9 is track stock and feedback. So I created a little, I wouldn't even call it a spreadsheet. It's just a table that I done on Microsoft Word. And this is especially important if you're like me, who also have your art online, whether it's on Etsy or you're on your own website, because you need to track the stock, because now I need to go back on Etsy and amend what actually available stock I have on certain items. But what I just did, I listed all of my stock. I put in sections, so prints, memo pads, bookmarks, stickers. I then did how many that I had when I took to the craft fair, the price, which again is you know, good for you to have, because obviously you've got the prices on the stand, but when you're stood behind, actually it's good to have the prices there to remind yourself. Because even though you have this up, even though you have the price labels next to things, you will still get some people go, how much are your bookmarks? But you can't say that. You can they're £3, only £3. So I have the price there. And then what I did is I had a little section to do the tally of when I sold something. And then what I can then do now is I can add in how much stock is remaining. So it'll be this quantity minus the sales tally equals the stock remaining. And then I can go back on my Etsy store and update that. And then you can do total sold stock. It just makes sure everything tallies up at the end of the day as well. Because obviously if you're doing some on card, some in your cash tin, you may have to make sure you take out the float of your cash tin. Make sure everything tallies up. And then also, I didn't do it so much today, but I did it especially with my other craft market that I did. And so I had a section at the end for notes. Today I just wrote down, I was tallying how much I was making as the time was going on. But last time I came away with loads of ideas, because that's the other thing I found. Standing there, listen to other people's conversations, their comments on your artwork. Oh, it would be great if that was on a sticker. Oh, I like that design. I wonder if she has this design. Oh, no, she doesn't. you can make a note, actually. Oh, somebody asked if I could have one of my bookmark designs on a sticker. My next shop update, I'm going to turn that design into a sticker. Or you might look at other stores, like, oh, that's a really great idea. I want to start making key rings. Make a note. So it gets the creative juices flowing. Again, hearing feedback, you can take that and make notes of things that you want to change or bring to your shop. And what I did today, actually, though, I did a little tally of how much I was making as the time was going on. On average, I made one sale every 15 minutes, which is interesting. Again, I think if you do a lot of art markets and you do a lot of locations, it's quite interesting to see the ebbs and flows. Although, having said that, speaking to a lot of stall holders, they say you just can't predict it. One day it'll be, you know, flat out. You could do exactly the same location, same date, same time the following year or the following week, and you won't get anyone. So you can't always predict it, but you can give it a go. I'm just looking how long I've been speaking. I'm so sorry I've been rambling on so long. But we are on the last tip. Tip number 10. I called this Find Your Tribe. But find markets, different platforms, different buyers who understand and get your brand and get what you do. I have to admit, this is something I've been struggling with the last 2 art markets. The one previously was more of an art market, more of like actually small businesses. But it wasn't in my niche, which is i.e. like cute stationery. Today, I did really, really well because there was nothing else like my stall at this event, but it was a low-key, just small town church Christmas fair. But especially speaking to my lovely new friend from Lock and Charm, she just got it. Well, you can tell from the branding, you know, it's right on my brand. She came over, she said, oh, I love stickers, or you got prints, great, you're on Etsy. So you could tell that's the kind of person that you want to be finding, that's your buyer. Now, obviously, there's pros and cons with that, because if you go to events that these kind of people are at, you're going to have more competition, but you're equally going to have people going there for the reason of buying that event. So next year I need to look at particularly stationery events that I need to look at, maybe even Christian events, because some of my stuff that I want to be bringing out next year is more kind of like Bible journaling focused. I'm also thinking of bringing out kind of a bookish reading, kind of book lover vibe collection, so those kind of people. So work out who your target audience is and where would they go, where are they shopping, where are they looking. And I think I need to start exploring with different companies for art markets and different locations. And I think it is going to be a bit of trial and error. So that's what I'm going to be doing next year, is try and error, trying out lots of different locations and venues and kind of art market businesses, people who organise art markets. Try different ones and try and see what fits my kind of brand. Booking these 2 towards the end of the year this year was kind of not a last minute decision, but I didn't want to invest too much in art markets this year because the main goal was producing products. Because at the start of this year I didn't have any products. I only opened my Etsy store in May, and now it's December, so the main thing was creating products and opening my Etsy store. But next year, as well as building on my Etsy store, I really want to invest in art markets. So I hope you continue to follow my journey here on YouTube. I'm sorry for the rambling, like 40 minutes. I'm so sorry. Hopefully you stuck with me to the end. If you have any comments, please put it in the comments to that. If If you have any comments, put it in the comments down below, funny enough. So next year we're going to be looking at doing lots more art markets. I am going to be filming it all here on YouTube. There'll be more studio vlogs, creating lots of different products. There's a lot I want to do next year. I want to invest in key rings, maybe enamel pins. That's my goal. So thank you for this first year on YouTube. Thank you for following me. Every like, comment, subscriber means the absolute world. So please do hit that notification bell if you want to continue to follow my journey. Hopefully those tips were useful. And have a lovely Christmas and New Year. I'm not sure if this is going out before or after my December studio vlog, but please watch that as well. And yes, I will see you in the new year, and we will do some more art markets together. So God bless. Love you. Bye-bye.